podcasting. For as long as I can remember, I have been a podcast junkie, okay? I can listen to like 4 or 5 hours of podcasts a day. When I'm driving, when I'm walking, no matter where I'm going, I'm listening to a podcast. And to be honest, my favorite podcast in the world is personal finance podcasts, like all of them. I listen to anything that's talking about money all day long. Tell me about a budget. Tell me about how we gonna retire early. Tell me about how we investing. Like, tell me all of that, because we trying to retire early. You know what I'm saying? We trying to get out of here. We trying to stop the whole like work all day kind of thing. And so I listen to about 1,000,000 podcasts, and I have done so for years. So that's why I am really, really excited to talk about today's new AI tool called Dexa. Dexa is supposed to be like an AI podcasting tool that will allow you to search your favorite podcasts. Now, it's like in its early stages, there's only a few, but I heard about it because one of my personal favorites, ChooseFI, was selected as one of the starter podcasts for this AI tool. So we're going to test it out today, see what you can do with it, and hopefully it'll be a lot of fun. Let's first, before we jump in, actually just look at the landing page and learn a little bit about what Dexa is and what can you do, and also what else does it have in it. I see a lot of, from like Jump, I see some podcasts that I have seen before. Huberman Lab, seen it before. My husband's a nerd. It's not something that I would listen to because I don't even, I listened to one, it's kind of boring to me, but he loves it. So we've listened to an episode or two together. Lex Fridman, I listened to him one time. I think he might have had CoffeeZilla on there. Oh, he did. He had CoffeeZilla on there, and I love me some CoffeeZilla. His podcast was wild. They were talking about the FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried situation, which CoffeeZilla has done like the best review of that whole situation. But Lex Fridman, he was really going off the deep end with his questions. It was kind of dry. I was not interested. I will not be interested, and I will not be going again. However, he's had some awesome guests from what I've seen, and so I guess if I wanted to hear some of the hot takes from some of his cool guests, then potentially I might. Anyway, pass. Jordan Harbinger. Now, I've been listening to Jordan for quite a while. Okay, so all of that to say, they got some good podcasts here. What's very interesting, let me find my mouse here. Oh, there it is. Okay, what's very interesting from this is that, I've been listening to Jordan since before when he was on, the Art of Something podcast. I don't remember now. But there was, a whole drama. Okay, I love drama. I'm not even going to lie. But we're not going to talk about Jordan's backstory here. What we are going to talk about is this podcasting AI app. We can talk about the gossip later. And they have a little example here of asking what should I do in the morning, and then the AI, I guess, will search the Huberman Lab. Why your name so long? Why? You just set us up. Okay. So the Huberman Lab podcast, it'll go through all of it and then give us the best answer, I hope. So let's see what else. Basically, you should be able to ask questions. You should be able to get some answers. And the beautiful thing about this is it's from sources that you trust. So I know personally the ChooseFI podcast is here. I trust what they got to say. I do. I've been listening to them for 3 years. And so whatever's in there, I know it's high quality. They don't be having no crazy guests on there. They don't be doing nothing wild. They give you good tips for you personally. So we're going to query that one. I'm lying if I can tell you I know it's in them other podcasts. Okay, cool. So it looks like they started off with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then they have, some fancy pants podcasts. Tim Ferriss, The Drive, My First Million. It has requests there. I wonder if, okay. It could be possible that a lot of people have requested those. And so they are top tier for if you also want this, then request. Part of me was thinking if you hit request, they're hey, pay for these. We have them, wink, wink. But this kind of feels if a lot of people are requesting a certain show, then they'll probably add it. It's on the short list to be added next. I haven't heard of any of these others. Mind Dump, The Knowledge Project. I haven't heard of those. They're probably good though. They're in good company. Huberman Lab, while it's not my jam, I know that it's a good podcast based on like my husband's very high reviews on that. Lex Fridman, also not my jam, but I know it's a good podcast just because of like how many great guests that he has on. His personality probably just is not my jam. ChooseFI I know is great. Jordan Harbinger I know is great. And so the other ones have to be good. Like, you know, you are the average of the people you're around. You are the average of the podcasts you're around, so you're probably great. Let's see what else. So basically, it's an intuitive podcast search. You can find relevant episodes by keyword, topic, or guest. Okay, and it's like short landing page. What I like about this is like they're not trying to shove everything down your throat that AI can do or try to boost themselves up. You know it's good when they don't have to like bother with frilly language. They don't have to like make up stuff or pretend they're great. This is how you know it's good. So I'm very excited. Whenever you hear all this stupid marketing language, you hear they're trying to put like 20 things on the landing page, that's when you can kind of like side eye. But in this case, it's short, sweet, to the point, everything that we want, and hopefully the app is as well. Okay, I think I can just click ChooseFI. Okay. And here, Brad Barrett, he is the host of the ChooseFI podcast. He's saying, welcome, I am an artificial intelligence trained on every episode of ChooseFI. I can help you answer questions, search for topics, and more. I am going to ask a question, just a very easy question for anybody in the financial independence retire early community, which I would consider myself an unofficial member. No, a pretty official member. It's not a real club, but you know, we say that we're a club on the internet. So I'm going to ask it, how can I retire early? Okay, so Brad, okay, they have given me a couple of clips. Let's see, while it's talking, let's see. Okay, I have 3 clips. And then it's giving me some special tips according to Brad Barrett AI. So what I can see here is the first thing it's saying is retiring early is a journey that's unique to each individual, but there are some common strategies you can consider. First up at the top saying it's unique to each individual, that's definitely a ChooseFI thing. Like they have interviewed so many people on the podcast that have gotten to early retirement or financial independence or work optional lifestyle. If you want to know more about that, we can talk later. Actually, we can ask Brad Barrett AI, right? Okay. First tip, reframe your mindset. As Amy Blacklock shared, it's never too late to start. Even if you're older than the typical retiree, you can still make significant changes to retire earlier than you originally thought. For me, not a super valuable hot tip, but it is kind of saying like, hey, don't think that you can't do this. You can, which I like. Learn from others. Look to those who successfully retired early. Learn from their strategies. Apply what fits your situation. Consider a Roth 401k. A Roth 401k can provide tax-free access to your retirement funds. Prepare for the emotional transition. Early retirement can be bittersweet. It's important to prepare for the emotional changes that come with leaving your job. Remember, the path to early retirement won't look like anyone else's. It's about finding what works best. Okay, for a quick analysis of like the quality of this response, I'm going to say it's okay. Essentially, it hasn't given me any technical steps of what I could do. It's all very like reframe, learn from others, and prepare for the emotional transition. It's very emotion heavy. I think that could be due to the podcast itself in its early days was very technical. It talked about how do you get the money together, how do you save your money, where do you save your money, how do you deal with healthcare. It was very, very focused on the financial aspect. Throughout the years of the podcast running, the podcast hosts themselves, originally there were 2, the podcast hosts themselves kind of went through the saving money, the making more money, the pursuing your dreams. And even in the people that they interviewed, the movement, the financial independence, retire early movement has itself matured. And over the time, that maturity has landed in a space where we don't even talk about the money anymore. Yeah, save your money, put it in a nice high yield savings account. Once you have a good little cash, I guess, stacked up, which some people don't even do the cash, but we can talk about that later. You want to spend a little bit of time like just dumping money into your VTSAX or some type of index fund. Just like dump the money in. Don't mess around with individual stocks unless you really want to. Like, and that's like hobby money, right? That's hobby money. That's not your chunk of change. That's your hobby money. And then invest in other vehicles if you like. Invest in yourself. Grow a little bit more. Make more. Stack the difference. And then do that over a period of time until you get 25x your annual expenses, which would be like your early retirement, financially independent number. That is like the technical details. This doesn't really have the technical details. And I think because the movement has matured and over time, what happened was people said, okay, I got the money, but now what? I got the money, what do? I got the money, I can't leave my job. I got the money, but now I'm at home and I can't blame the money for my problems because I have money. So the problem is me. Yeah, people started having some emotional, like really deep dive things to think about their life. And so I think that is why this response is so emotion heavy. And without that context, I don't think that this is a useful answer for someone who is like, ChooseFI, let me ask a question about financial independence. But for someone that has followed this journey for a very long time, this answer makes sense to me, but I don't think it's the best answer. Let me ask it another question. And this is going to be a simple, like technical, how much do I need to retire early? And so as like a financial independence retire early, like the baseline answer to this question is you need 25 times your annual expenses. Now, the reason you need 25 times your annual expenses is because once you invest your money, you can take out 4% of that every year without your money running out. The point at which you can take 4% out is when you have reached 25 times how much you spend. And so that means that your money inside of your investment account will make enough so that you can continuously take 4% without running out. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. But my hope and dream is that this AI will give me that as an answer. There are many schools of thought, but the 4% is basically what we can all pretty much agree on. Some people want to be a little bit more conservative and do 3.5%. Then there's like people who want to do even more. It's wild. It ranges. But essentially, there was a study done called the Trinity study that basically said, hey, 4% and you good. And so we based the math, the financial independence peoples on the internet, based the math on that. And the number that you need to take that out is 25 times. Come on, AI gods. Tell mama what she wants to hear. Don't love it, though this is, from what I'm reading, kind of true. So the amount you need to retire early depends on several factors: your annual expenses and your risk tolerance. As discussed with Rob Berger, a 30% savings rate could potentially allow you to retire early, although a 50% savings rate will get you there faster. Joel from episode 32 mentioned milestones like LeanFi, FlexifyFi, and FatFi. It's funny to watch the AI kind of translate this, because all of these, where it's PHI, it should be FI. It should be FI, which corresponds to different levels of savings. For instance, FatFi is having 30 times your annual expenses saved up. Okay. So it's gotten kind of there. It didn't get the 25 times it's like regular Fi, but FatFi is basically where if 25 times your annual expenses means that you can take out 4%, some people are like, screw that. I want more than 4% of my money every year. I want to retire on 80,000 a year. I want to retire on 100,000 a year. Fine, ain't nobody mad at you. Do you, boo? You're gonna have to save a little bit more. Lean fi is basically when you're like, so standard is I want 40,000 a year, but that's like regular fi. But some people are like, give me 25,000 a year. I'm gonna live off that. I'm gonna go live my life in like, I'm gonna like Bali, or I don't remember if Bali was one of the spots they go to. Anyway, I'm gonna go to one of these low cost countries, live good off of $2,000 a month and call it a day. And so people do different types of financial independence, retire early. While this didn't give me the answer I wanted, I think it's nice enough. And a lot of times is if you can save more, you reduce your time to retirement. If you save less, then of course you lengthen that time to retirement, but you can do a lot of things to supplement your income. The big goal is making sure that there is a gap between how much you spend and how much you make, and that you expand that gap as much as possible and save the difference. I'm not in love with it. The fact that I didn't hear any of those like common financial independence, retire early themes, it got the mindset themes. And I think that it got that because there's probably a lot more data available on the mindset stuff, because that's where the growth has happened in the last few years. But it didn't really get the technical stuff, which I think is a very big deal. The technical stuff is the foundation. Once you kind of have your savings, have your income up, have your spending low, have your income up, have your savings high, then you can start toying around with the philosophical thoughts and like how you feel about it and where you want to go and how you want to do things and what's retirement going to look like. But I don't see the foundation being pulled through here. And I think that's what happens when you have AI, because you have to train the AI on the data. The AI is only as good as the data it's been given. When the AI has been given an overabundance of the information that of some type of information, it doesn't know enough to go grab the little bits and pieces that are very, very important. And I think in that here, the AI has missed the tiny things that are very important. In this case, I think it is great to be able to hop to different things, to be able to learn a little bit, maybe hopefully answer a quick question or find a relevant episode. Like even looking at these episodes, like challenging 50%, retire before mom and dad. I mean, that was I remember this one. This was a really good episode. Episode 32, the early retirement milestones. I think that this is the perfect episode to go to because it really goes through the why of I, if I'm remembering that properly. And then, yeah, I think that it could be great to jump to an episode that's super relevant to the topic you want to learn about. But this whole like paragraph, I'm not in love. Anyway, I think it's a really cool feature. I think it'll get better over time. And also, I think that something this could use is a little bit of reinforcement learning. And what that means is, what would be really cool, knowing this is new, knowing it's kind of in beta, knowing that, you know what, you guys are testing this out a little bit, give someone 2 answers and allow the user to choose the best one. I think that is something this could really use. I like it. I don't love it. I do think it can be really cool over time. I love the idea that this is even available for us. I love the idea that out of all the podcast episodes, when I have a question, I can come here and at least find the right one to help serve my need. So I moderately recommend, not highly, but moderately recommend, and I'm very excited to see what you guys do next. Awesome job, Dexa. Thank you so much. If you love this video, let me know what other tools you want me to try. If you hate this video, keep it moving. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe because your girl needs some subscribers. I'm new around here in these YouTube parts, so, hook a sister up. Alrighty, have a great day. Peace.